Okay, guys, so today is the day that Witcher was released on Netflix, December 20th. I wasn't entirely sure the last time I saw the trailer and the character introductions. I didn't know if it was December or January. Of course, it should have occurred to me that it was definitely probably December because they have just released all this stuff and they typically like to, release things like trailers and stuff not long before their product is going to be released, their show, their movie, whatever. So I'm getting ready to check out the first episode. I don't have time to binge all of the episodes, and even this first one, I may have to break it up into chunks because I have work. So if it's really completely awesome and I'm totally loving it and I want to talk about it, I'll probably come back and do a review. I don't know yet. I won't know until after I finish watching the first episode. I'm definitely going to try to get at least the first episode done today. Maybe I'll try to watch an episode every day and maybe make a video every time I've seen an episode so we can talk about it. I don't know that I want to wait until I'm done with the entire... Well, I mean, someone had asked me if I was going to make a review about every episode, and I wasn't sure. I had been wanting to talk about The Mandalorian, but I'm not done with that yet. And I never really got around to making reviews for each episode. So I had sort of thought about just watching The Witcher and then, making a video about it, and that was it. But maybe I'll do one for each episode. But the downside is on Netflix, they throw all of the episodes up. So by the time I even get around to finishing this first one and maybe making a review, a lot of people have probably seen the entire show. So I don't know really how efficient this is going to be to do it this way, but we'll see. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Anyway, I'm going to sign off now. I'm taking a quick break from work, and I'm going to get started at least on the first episode, and hopefully I'll be back to talk about it with you. Bye. Okay, so it has been a few hours since I saw episode 1 of The Witcher, and I had thought about just breaking it up into parts so that I could do some work in between, and I ended up watching the whole thing. So that didn't go as expected. It was about an hour long. Each episode looks like it's about an hour long, and there are 8 episodes total. So this particular one, the first episode, is kind of doing a little bit of character building or character introduction. We're introduced to the Witcher, and we're introduced to Cirilla. I think that's her name, Cirilla, Princess Cirilla. We're not yet introduced to Yennefer. I'm assuming maybe she'll show up in the next episode, but I guess we'll see. We're also introduced to a character named Renfrey, and a sorcerer dude, and Princess Cirilla's grandmother and grandfather, but her grandparents aren't like elderly. They look more like they're middle age-ish. So I'm not quite sure. Like Cirilla's mother must have had her when she was really young, and her mother must have had her when she was really young. So I don't know. I don't know the character dynamics, and I don't know a whole lot about the overall world. I'm pretty ignorant when it comes to the whole, all the the backstory of the characters, the whole world, and all of that. I only had a passing knowledge of The Witcher, and it wasn't until after I did the first reaction video to one of the earlier trailers that I even found out it was a series of books first. And so I'm going into this completely blind to the whole story, the whole world, everything. Consequently, I had my subtitles on so that I could make sure I caught all of the names that were mentioned and the different regions and stuff that were mentioned. And I followed what was going on, but there was a lot. They told a lot of sort of so there's these political, or I say political, but like different regions are coming, like a different region is coming to invade the main region where Princess Cirilla is in. And now I can't even remember the name of the regions, I'm telling you, because they're so out there. You know, it's like a fantasy type world. And so there are names that don't always stick with you. So there's political stuff like that going on. You know, these people were wanting to come, and has something to do with the princess, which hasn't been revealed yet what her powers are. Now, when it sort of hinted at what the powers were, you saw a little bit of a taste of that at the end of the first episode. And yes, this is a spoiler talk, you guys. I'm going to assume that most everybody watching this has either seen the episode already or already knows the world and will get what I'm talking about, unless they've changed things drastically for this show. Anyway, the one thing that came to my mind when her power, the princess's power, was revealed was Banshee. That's what it reminded me of. Like, she's got this power in her screams. So I don't know if banshees exist in this world of The Witcher or not. They did mention some various types of mythological, or, you know, fake creatures. Like there was a werewolf mentioned, and you know, so they have similar types of creatures or monsters in their world that we read stories about or watch movies about or whatever. So that's why I thought of Banshee. Now I don't know if they've got another name for it in this whole story or not, but anyway. So basically, we get a glimpse of the Witcher's life. What's up with him? Yes, he's an outcast. People, they don't like him automatically. He's a mutant to them, and so they're very wary of him, and they just outright hate him, a lot of people. And you know that at some point the Witcher and Princess Cirilla are going to come together, and he's going to be like her protector or something. We get that sense anyway from the trailers, so that's not a surprise. They do not meet yet in the first episode. The first episode, he's leaving the town where he was, this little town, I can't remember the name of the town, but he had some stuff going on involving a sorcerer and Renfrey. I think that was, I keep wanting to say Winry from Full Metal Alchemist, but it's not that. Not quite. I mean, her story was kind of interesting. One thing that kind of agitated me, well, I don't know, maybe not. So he develops this sort of relationship-ish type thing with oh my gosh, what the heck is her name? The girl. Starts with an R. Renfrey. Nope, I swear. Anyway, whatever her name is, R. I'm just going to call her R. He develops a relationship with her, sort of, kind of. I can't quite tell if it really culminated in anything physical, because she had some sort of power. She kind of messed with his mind a little bit. She was a pretty tortured, troubled soul, and he tried to sort of give her some advice, some guidance to help prevent worse things for her. She was determined to get some vengeance on somebody. And at some point they came to blows. They were fighting, their sword fighting. And it kind of aggravated me so she had her men attack him, and he killed those guys at the drop of a hat like nothing, and then he comes to fight her and he's holding back. I guess maybe it was because he knew her, he kind of had a soft spot in his heart for her, but the woman was trying to actually kill him, and he had no concern about very quickly killing the other dudes, which was a cool fight scene, by the way. But he holds back. I can't stand it in like movies and stuff when the guy holds back from defending himself against, you know, a female who's trying to kill him, very clearly trying to kill him, not just trying to hurt him. She's actually trying to kill him. I'm like, just kill her already. Anyway, that's a tangent. But something that confuses me in the fight scene that he had with these people that she had sent to kill him, he looked at one point like, and maybe this is something they either made up for the show, or it is something that's explained in the books, or you guys will know what the heck happened. But it looked like he thrust his sword in somebody, like just stabbed somebody with his sword, and left the sword in them. And then he's continuing on with his fight, and he has like a smaller dagger in one hand, and then his sword is back again in his other hand. I had to rewind that scene and watch it just to make sure I hadn't seen something wrong. I don't think it was like a movie blooper or a blooper. I don't think it was anything like that. It's something to do with him and his powers. Is he able to resummon his sword after he's used it somewhere? Can it just suddenly appear in his hand again? It was kind of interesting. So anyway, but basically overall, I really did like the episode. It didn't feel like it moved too fast. I felt like we got a fairly good introduction to the characters, especially these first two. And the little girl who played Princess Cyrilla, wow, she's a really good actress, you guys. I was pretty impressed with how she played her part. I liked how they set up her relationship with her grandmother and her grandfather, which I think her grandfather, it was like maybe a I get the sense that he was not like her first husband. He's maybe Cyrilla's step-grandfather. And that was just based on the banter that I was hearing them talk about. And he was very openly talking about his sexual escapades, I guess, in front of his wife, which I think it was his wife. At first I thought maybe they were brother and sister. And then I don't know. It was a political marriage, but you can tell that the two actually care for each other very deeply. So I don't know if I'm just not quite understanding all the background stuff about these characters. But anyway, I liked how they showed the progression of what happened in Cyrilla's world, what happened in the Witcher's world, and it didn't feel overly rushed. Her grandmother gets wounded, and I thought that when she had her talk with Cyrilla that she was going to die very quickly afterwards, but she didn't. There was more stuff that went on. I mean, she was still in the same position where she had been before, but there was stuff that was going on. And she had to make sure that Cyrilla escaped. And so Cyrilla was sent off to escape. And she did. We all know that she's going to, because we know that she's running away and she's somehow going to come in touch with him. I have no idea when. I'm assuming it might not be for a couple more episodes, but I don't know. I guess I'll find out. I like that these episodes are an hour long because it feels like it gives the story plenty of time to breathe and it's not quite so compacted. 40 minutes just feels like such a short episode to me. So I'm glad that Netflix has taken the time to make these nice long episodes, almost like a Game of Thrones length episode. Well, it pretty much is. So that's good. Anyway, I can't think of anything. Oh yeah, the opening shot. There was an opening shot. He's fighting that spider. I didn't see him using any magic on the spider. It didn't look like it would. The giant spider. I can't remember the name of the creature. I think it starts with a K. It's some weird name that. Anyway, it's a spider. I'll call it a spider. And that's the scene where his eyes are like all jacked up and black and everything, and he's got these black veins around his eyes. What was up with that? It didn't look like, I said, it did not look like he was using his power. He was fighting with the sword. He gets dunked in the water. He's able to grab his sword and, kill the creature. But at some point, either right at the very end of the fight or at the beginning of the fight, he's got those black eyes. I think it was at the end. So what was that about? Was his mutant nature kind of coming to the surface? Or what? And it confused me because I remember thinking when I saw that scene in the trailer or portions of that scene, I was thinking that the reason he looked like that is because he had used his power. But it wasn't clear to me that he had used his power. He was just physically fighting the creature. So Maybe some of you guys can clear that up with me. If you either, maybe I just completely missed something. I mean, I did put my full attention on this thing, you guys. It was not something I just had playing while I was working, which I do a lot of times, but I did not with this. And even with the subtitles and everything, and rewinding scenes that I felt like I didn't quite get, but I don't know what I'm missing there. I guess maybe that will be revealed in later episodes. We'll find out. So anyway, I can't think of anything else to mention with regard to this particular episode other than I liked it. I'm looking forward to the next one. I do not know if I will be able to make a video chat sort of thing, reviewish, whatever, about each episode. It just depends how fast I'm able to watch them. If I watch multiple episodes at once, which is probably going to be kind of rare, but if I happen to, maybe then if I do a video, I will just do a video covering those 2 episodes and asking you guys questions about things that confused me. So anyway, people had told me with regard to his character that he wasn't necessarily good or bad. He definitely seems to be more on the good side. He seems to be someone who wants to avoid unnecessary bloodshed. The sorcerer had asked him to do something to kill someone for him, and this whole theme of the lesser of 2 evils, I mean, I feel like that should have been the title of the episode because that kept being brought up. The lesser of 2 evils. Do the lesser thing of 2 evils. Well, you know, you've always heard, well, the lesser of 2 evils is still evil, right? So he made some sort of comment. I actually wrote it down. It was kind of profound. He said something like, if I have to choose between one evil and another, I prefer not to have to choose at all. Something along those lines, which I thought that was kind of a pretty profound quote. It kind of reminded me of like political stuff, and you know how some people they don't want to vote certain ways because they consider both ways equally bad or evil, and so they just don't vote that way. They either don't vote at all or they vote for something else that's more in line with their personal ideology. And I just felt that was kind of relevant to some things of today, but maybe that's just me reading more into it than is really necessary. But I appreciated that quote, and it made me think though that he's more in line with the good. He didn't seem like he was an overly brutal type of person. I mean, there's a scene that happens in the beginning that sort of sets you up to make you think, oh, he's pretty cold-hearted. He didn't really save this little baby deer, or baby, whatever it was, little baby animal, and that's when he kills the spider. And so after he kills the spider, then he kills the little animal to eat it, you know, because I mean, anyways, you're like, oh, but then, you know, I mean, he's hunting, he's eating, he's got to eat, he's in the forest, but, you know, I feel like that was kind of set up to show you that he's not this complete softy on the inside, you know, or when he kills this monster, but he's going to kill this other sweet little creature here because he needs to eat, he's going to eat it. And, but at the same time, as the episode goes on, it becomes very clear he's not, you know, he does have a soft, good core to his being, and so that makes me think he's not going to be quite as gray character-wise as I was thinking he would be based on some things people were telling me. Now, I might be wrong. Things might change in future episodes, but I guess we'll see. I like the way Cavill played his character. Obviously, he's perfect for the part as far as his looks. I mean, he's got that physique, he's got the hair they put on him, and strong jaw, super imposing. You know, he's tough, he's strong, and he is a man of few words. He talks sometimes in more than like a sentence or two, but a lot of times he's like, you know, just making it, or 1 or 2 word answers, you know. It's kind of funny, like, you don't talk much, do you? But that's the way his character is supposed to be. He's kind of, you know, kind of shut down a little bit. You know, he presents this exterior to people that's a little bit brusque and standoffish, that sort of thing. But yeah, it was fun. I like the episode. I'm looking forward to the next one. If I've got time, I'm going to try to watch the next one tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. But curious to hear what you guys think. If you have started watching it, which I have a feeling most of you probably have, did you just go ahead and binge and watch the whole thing, or are you just going to take it an episode at a time? And let me know what you think. Let me know how accurate this was to the books, or if you even feel like you are able to tell based on this first episode whether it is fairly accurate or not. I'm guessing that fans of this series will know right away what's accurate, what's not. But someone like me, completely ignorant, I don't know. And so in a way, I feel like it's kind of a good thing, because this is completely new to me and I'm going in with fresh eyes. And so I'm liking what I'm seeing so far, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the series. And I guess that's it for now, you guys. Bye.